The '02 season was Coach Ray Locar's first as head boys basketball coach. Locar and assistants Dunbar, Smith, Delmundo, Ng, and White had a roster of hoopsters which included 8 returning seniors who had made CIF quarterfinals the previous year. In non-league action, the Lancers won the Alhambra tournament. League play had its ups and downs with 6-3 finish, but it earned a spot in the playoffs. Amat drew Monrovia as its first-round playoff opponent. Although Locar viewed this draw as unusually tough, the Lancers beat Monrovia in an exciting 62-59 game. At Fullerton Union High School, in an atmosphere reminiscent of an Indiana Hoosiers game, the Lancers met the Indians for second-round playoff action. Amat took the lead quickly, however, Fullerton slowed the pace of the game by running down the shot clock on its possessions and was able to keep the score close throughout. The Indians couldn't slow the Lancers' John Hayward, who scored a game-high 21 points, with Paul Porter scoring 15. Final score, Amat 47-43. On February 19, 2002, in what was planned to be the final game at Tate Duff Memorial Gym, the Lancers cut the net down after their quarterfinal victory against Northwood. Northwood's coach O'Brien reflected after the game, "They were the hunters, and we were the hunted." The semifinal was a matchup between the #1 seeded Artesia Pioneers and the underdog Lancer team. It was a close, hard-fought game. The Lancer Cagers fought possession by possession right to the buzzer, ultimately upsetting Artesia 57-54 in the semis. The Almont Lancers met Palm Desert Aztecs at the Arrowhead Pond for the CIF final. It was a close game throughout, but the Lancers stepped up their game in the final 3 minutes. The Lancers bore down the Aztecs, and the scoreboard read Almont 47, Palm Desert 35 at the final buzzer. Quoted after the win, Coach Locar said, "The biggest problem I have is trying to find time to get guys in the game. Every time I look at the bench, I see 3 guys I need to get into the game, and 3 guys I'd like to get into the game. Then I look out at the court, and I see guys I don't want to take out of the game. I guess that's a good dilemma." Jonathan Haywood and Paul Porter received all CIF honors, and Haywood was named CIF Player of the Year. CIF Coach of the Year went to Ray Locar. It was the first boys basketball championship in school history.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a member of the '02 team, Ahmad Hall of Famer and CIF Player of the Year, Mr. Jonathan Haywood.
Good evening, everybody. This coach was a very instrumental part in helping make 2002 one of the most memorable years of my life. Many of our team members knew that we had a strong team, a strong-willed team. All we needed was that direction to finish. This coach realized the camaraderie that we had with our team, and he utilized us to benefit from hard work. We had a very difficult and competitive league, a very difficult season. We had a lot to come together with, and when we finally did, we gelled well, and we won. This coach had an unyielding confidence in his players. Even though it was his first year, and he had a brand new batch of players that were already in the system, he still stood strong and helped us to finish. This coach's name is Ray Locar, and I appreciate him. Coach Locar. Amen.
As everybody said tonight, it's great to see all of these faces, and it's wonderful to hear words like that in the introduction, and Johnny got my name right. I remember the very first day I stepped onto Bishop Almont's campus as a student. My very first class was in PE with Tate Duff, and as he called roll, he said, "Lacroix, Lesko, Locker," and I raised my hand and I said, "That's Locar, sir." And he said, "That's what I said, locker." And so I was locker for the rest of the season with Coach Duff, and I see so many other people. Coach Ryan was my freshman algebra teacher, and Coach Patricio was senior social studies teacher, and he used to always tell us if we listen, we might learn. And I use that to this day. But as far as being coaching mentors, I remember a day after a football game, late at night in the faculty house, and Coach Patricio and Joe Rogers and Bob Woods were still talking about the game. And Coach Woods took out a pen and drew a bunch of circles on a napkin and drew up a play. And Coach Rogers drew a bunch of X's and how he would stop that play. And Coach Woods looked at one of the O's and he said, "Well, what are you going to do now?" And Coach Patricio took the pen and said, "That X has got to make a great play." And as we got ready for this week, I watched some highlight film, and we would execute our offense, we'd run our plays to perfection, and we'd miss a shot. And this X right back here would get a rebound and put it back in, and all of a sudden it became a great play. Congratulations to Coach Haggerty. I know that's been mentioned a couple of times. I know exactly what it feels like. Yeah, go ahead. To be hired as a coach at your alma mater, I felt like I dreamed, died and gone to heaven, had a dream that was like that. And I had come from a program up in the foothills that kind of thinks that they're the best basketball program in the valley. And coach up there was a longtime mentor, and he was at the gates with St. Peter. And St. Peter said, "We're going to show you where you're going to be for the rest of eternity." So we walked through this beautiful forest and saw a Craftsman home with black trim and a big red door and a G on the door. And he told the coach, "This is where you're going to be for the rest of eternity." And just at that time, we looked up a big hill, and there was a golden walkway with a blue sapphire studded rail, and a beautiful Tudor mansion at the top with a golden flagpole and a big, huge A on a flag in front of the house. And coach said, "I've won 400 games. I've coached for 25 years. I have 4 national championships. Lokar gets hired, and he gets this mansion at the top of the hill." And St. Peter said, "That's not Lokar's house. That's God's house." So that standard that makes even him a big fan travels nationwide. I get a chance to speak to organizations across the country, and I was in Chicago talking to a group of athletic directors, and they said, "Bishop Beaumont, that's the school that the football team came back here a number of years ago and played. A good team. Coach Salter's here." Yeah, that was them. And I was in Burlington, Vermont, and the baseball coach came and said, "That's the school that won 2 national championships in baseball recently, isn't it?" Yeah, it is. So we represent something that goes far beyond our area, our section, our state. It's really a tradition that's nationwide that we're all trying to carry on. And as coaches, we're up here because we've won some games, and fortunately maybe the last couple of games of the year that are most important. But we've all had years where we've done just as good a job, and the ball didn't bounce that way. And it's the life lessons that you learn during that time, when you win and when you don't win, that really carries athletes through. And they're the ones that are to be commended. Athletes are for participating in this laboratory of life that we call sports. Thanks very much.